says it's a public line, and then we should take that direction.
How is this different than across the street where you fixed that?
I don't know when.
I don't think any of us were here for that.
Here for that.
Right, it didn't happen that long ago, so we can dig that up. So I'll look into that, huh? Thank you.
All right, no other business, board and commission reports. Cliff?
I hired Dave Austin to update us on Laura. He did a fine job.
That's why Dave's retired.
Yeah, working for you caused him to retire. Thanks, bud.
I was gonna ask you for a favor, but I can't afford you, man.
I got a couple coming up this week, and I know we have our LCTV fund meeting coming up very soon to talk about that, and hopefully we got a lot of people putting in their request on Friday. So we'll be working on that for the next month or so.
Cliff's grant to pay Dave. Is that
Yeah.
All right.
All mine are next week?
Yeah.
Mine are in the upcoming week as well. I was going to share that. I had previously shared that Bob Rogers had come to Parks and Rec to share about the skate park. And so just so everybody knows, next meeting we'll have a bigger update about that. And in March we'll see some more movement.
What do we have, DDA Thursday, and I have Fire Authority Thursday night. So I haven't had anything yet. Mike, city manager's report.
Sure, got a number of items. First issue is River City Cannabis. Last week they were issued a citation, a $500 misdemeanor or civil infraction citation for odor. We've had issues with odor in the site. We've been trying to work with them on it, and to this point they've been unsuccessful. They're given 10 days to abate the nuisance. Beginning Thursday, if they're not in compliance, they will be issued $500 citations daily, and we will start the process of removing their license in the city if we need to. I'm working with the city attorney on that as well.
Can I ask, have they
Sure.
been in communication with you?
We've been in communication, yes.
So when they first came to move in, and we were kind of hesitant on them being right there in the middle of the plaza, they said that they had some sort of like filtration
Yes.
system. Is that just failing on them, or they're?
I think there's a number of things. I don't know if they're using the proper filtration, but there are, from what I understand, there are leaks in the wall that may be causing the issue. That being said, it's still their responsibility to mitigate it.
Sure.
Well, we talked about it from the beginning. Odor mitigation is going to be a lot different in a strip mall than it's going to be
Yeah.
in a standalone
Freestanding.
building.
So is there a scientific, I mean, is it just the smell test? Or is there a scientific that says there's so many parts per million that are, or is it just arbitrarily somebody going in and going?
It stinks.
Oh, I
That
see.
smells.
It stinks.
Is it, I haven't heard, is it invading into the arcade
Yes.
space as
The
well?
arcade.
Arcade and tanning salon and Snap Fitness.
Yeah, and we know, I personally know people that aren't going there right now because of it.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when you go into Snap Fitness, there's signs that says, "We know about the odor."
Yeah.
So I have been probably in communication with them daily.
So how many $500 fines before we can start the,
That's a city attorney question, but I would rather,
Jessica?
I basically, you have to build a case on it,
Right.
basically. So, if they're gonna keep getting citations, I think, my thing is if I gotta issue them 2 citations in a row, 2 days in a row, I'm ready to start moving forward on it. But
Yeah, I'm thinking what Perry was saying, is this nose test a good enough solution to close them down, or do you have to have some air qualified to breathe in that says, yes, it is this?
Remember when we had the lovely tank down the road at Chatham? And there was a device available that read the air for parts
But I don't
per
know, do they
million,
have
but
it?
it was so expensive.
that was part of the
Don't
issue,
get me wrong,
yeah.
I just say,
In the city ordinance, it says there is no parts per million.
No,
It's just a normal person with normal senses
Right.
can detect it.
I went and worked out there today, it's tough.
And that's what happened with the biodigester too. They were happy to just continue paying the tickets.
Right.
They never-
But the difference between this and that situation is, we do have a pretty strong ordinance. We just need to give them an opportunity. The part is you need to give them an opportunity to try to correct it, and if they can't, in a reasonable time, which I think a couple of weeks is reasonable, then I believe you could start the process. But that's why I'm working with the attorney on it. But she's very aware of the situation.
And that clock started when we,
They were issued a citation Monday,
Monday. Okay.
so 10 days.
Okay.
So Wednesday would be the 10-day mark. So Thursday, we would begin issuing citations again.
It just kind of sucks that another existing local business has to lose business and apologize for a problem they didn't create.
Correct, and the thing is everyone else in the city, we have had no issues whatsoever. I know everyone has different opinions on marijuana, but I'll be honest, these people are setting a bad name for themselves, in my opinion. And I haven't been very nice to them, so.
Well, they're damaging other local businesses.
Right.
And they're not, the ones that are here have done a fantastic job of
Correct.
being neighbors
Right.
and community partners.
Yeah.
And that standard needs to hold for everybody.
Correct.
That's Cafe and Loon and Premier, they're all trying to be
Yeah.
good neighbors and they're trying to be community
yeah.
partners, and they
Yeah.
shouldn't.
And my dealings with the other ones have been very good.
Yeah.
I've only been in one, and it didn't even smell like
No.
marijuana in the shop, much less in the parking lot or before you open the door or anything.
Well, I've had to go to a mall
Yeah.
for my job, and I can tell you that a lot of them, when you go in, you smell it, but when you step outside, you don't. But not the case here, so. So continuing on, I want to thank the DPW for their efforts last week for snowstorms. They did an excellent job as always. My kids were upset because they had to go to school because of them. But good, very good job. I had no issue with that. I want to update you on stuff with the USDA financing. Week prior, we met with myself, Dave, Warren Kraber, our financial advisor. We met with USDA and started going through the underwriting portion to move forward with the financing. And we found at the time that with the numbers that we submitted to USDA, there was concern that, well, the numbers, the way they indicated, showed that we were above the medium income threshold in order to seek financing. And meaning that we would have to go out into the private market and seek financing. And that would mean a 20 to 25 year note, or possibly even through the state revolving fund. That's a 30-year note that would be more cost, and the interest rate is slightly higher than a USDA loan. So the cost could be, for borrowing, would be higher. At the time, they, in the formulas they had, they were taking into account our wholesale customer, which is the township, and our industrial park customers, and those numbers were skewing that median income requirement. So Dave worked on that last week, and we were able to get that issue resolved with USDA. Paul's resolved it, correct?
We have to submit formally once I get Jessica's numbers,
Okay.
but it's headed in.
So we have some title work that has to be cleared up also for Monroe Street as we move forward to the process. The issue is going to become that we're probably not going to get this project awarded probably till maybe late April, early May. And what we'll probably end up having to do is if we do move forward with the project, we would complete the first phase of the project this year, meaning we would start from Front Street and going to a certain point and only doing work in that area. And then next year, when Washington were to be done, we would move south on Washington from Front Street going north, and we would finish Monroe going from Fremont south. So that is a possibility. We're still getting information on that, but it is going, and I've done these projects before, so this isn't uncommon. I've never done a USDA loan, but I've done these federal projects like this before, and we ended up at the 11th hour, we had to delay our project a whole year. So this isn't uncommon to me. So we're still working on that, and I'll have more information as we go along. The line shack, you should hopefully have the development agreement in front of you at the next council meeting. There's one small item that I believe Jessica and Brent are working out, and that should be to you at the next council meeting. We will have a zoning board of appeals meeting February 22nd for a variance request from Benton Baker. We did meet with them last week. And they have a number of things that they're working on with their project, but I think they're still going to be making a request to basically allow them to swap the signs across the street, and that's what's causing the issue for the ZBA meeting. So that'll be in front of you next week. MERS will be here March 7th. They will review last year's actuarial report with you, and then that'll be the meeting where we do discuss the amortization extension. I will have some data for you at that meeting. We would look at extending, as I said, we would look at extending the 5-year period, but we would not reduce our payments. We would continue to make the current payments we're making now, and or making additional payments to help us reduce that liability. I keep forgetting to mention this, but Suez has been sold to Veolia. I believe everything was finalized in the last week or two, but I don't think Brian and Cody are formally Veolia employees just yet, but they will be very soon. And then one other thing, just to be more transparent, I started putting my weekly memo online that I sent to you. So just thought it would be a way people could see what we're doing. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Mike? Okay, we don't have anything in appointments this year anymore. Council comments, Cliff.
I would like to thank Mr. Dave Austin. I think it's kind of a bummer that he's retiring. I mean, congratulations on retiring, but he has worked really hard on Lara, and he's passionate about trails, he's passionate about Lowell, and I know it can kind of get blurry because he works for Williams and Works, but he's done a whole lot that had nothing to do with work, and I sure appreciate it.
Jim.
Same thoughts, Dave, on that part of it. This was pretty interesting, so
Yeah.
I hope you bring it to the Parks and Recs.
Absolutely.
And I seen Charlie grab them on the way out, so I'm quite sure Charlie's gonna be looking at this as well, and from a low light power standpoint, when they're always in the trees, and what we can do to help the surrounding community.
Don't let us go take chainsaw training.
I bought a new chainsaw, I used
You
it
get
4
trained on
times.
it.
Oh, boy.
I still got that.
Still got
So that's it for me.
Oh, 100%, I shouldn't have chainsaw. Marty.
I'd like to thank DPW for diligence in getting snow removed, making our city nice and safe. It is quite different to come in from county roads into ours, and it's a night and day difference. Chief, I'd like to thank your guys for all the hard work that they do. I still can't tell the old cars apart since you put new decals on them. So it's kind of interesting. And I'd like to wish my wife a happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
You're dead.
How can I follow up to that?
That's gonna be an expensive birthday.
I would like to echo my fellow council members. I love a meeting when it is full of information and people who care. I love seeing an audience. It makes it all so much better. It makes us feel fulfilled. So thanks for being here.
Happy 40th birthday, Lori.
You're welcome.
Couldn't do any of this without you. Jim?
Make a motion to adjourn at, what is it, 8:42?
8:52.
8:52. 8:53, do I hear 4?
Motion and a second.
to teach Jim how to read a clock.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, for adjourned.
Can we get a easier clock?